Hey, welcome back to the Healthy Living Scottsdale podcast. I'm your host, Coach Zach. I am in studio with Coach Brandy, and today we are talking about should you or should you not eat before working out? So, common question.
Yep.
Common flaw that people make. So we're going to break that down for you. But before we do, we always like to give a shout out to a client here at Legacy. And this week's client is Miss Ping Hung. And the reason we decided to give her a shout out is Miss Ping had surgery on her hands, pretty like crazy surgery. She had like pins put into her fingers and all kinds of stuff. She comes in wearing bandages and I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, well, I had surgery and like last week she had surgery and she's like, but I'm here. I don't know what I can do, but I'm going to work out. And I'm just like, get it, girl, get it. This is so cool, right?
I know.
Like most people, they break a nail and they're like, I can't work out. And she's in here with all of her fingers wrapped up and bandaged up and she doesn't know if she can grip anything. She's like, train me, right? Like I'm here to work out. And that's just so cool.
I know. She was, had been in some pain because of some arthritis she was dealing with in her hands. But she said the only thing that she was really concerned about and that she talked to her surgeon about was, when can I get back to the gym? She's like, the surgeon said he hadn't been asked that question before.
If you want to know how to be a great client, that's it, right?
Yeah.
To us, that's like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
So.
She's like, I'll just try, if this grip doesn't work, I'll try something else. Like, I just want to get a workout in. It makes me feel better.
Yeah, I love it. So great job, Ping. We love you. All right, Brandy.
Okay.
This was your.
Yes.
I asked you, hey, we need to. What do you want to do for our next episode? And there was some inspiration for this one. So why don't you kind of break it down?
Sure. So the other day I was training some clients, and within one day I had multiple people tell me during their training session, one, the training session was very hard for them to get through. They were struggling with their energy, very low energy. The workout was really challenging for them. They had to take multiple breaks, were out of breath, just had no energy. And so when I followed up on that, like, okay, why might that be? Dug in a little bit, found out that all three of these people that were having these issues during their training session had not really eaten very much during the day. These were afternoon training sessions, not first thing in the morning.
Yep.
But afternoon training sessions, and they'd eaten a little bit, but not very much. And so just very low energy. I even had a couple of people telling me they were feeling lightheaded and could barely make it through the workout. So that was the inspiration for this topic, because to me, that tells me they're feeling that way because they don't have the energy or the fuel from their nutrition to be able to get through the workout and maximize their workout.
Yeah. And I think part of this comes down to just like mindset to some degree, right? So I understand, especially from a female's perspective, that they want to be skinny, right? That they want to be very lean. But I also think that like what cost?
Yeah.
At what cost? And, is there a better way, which we'll talk about? But to me, feeling good is probably priority number one. Like having good energy throughout my whole day, feeling good, mentally sharp, ready to take on the day and the tasks and whatever comes up. And if you're not capable of doing that because you're so malnourished, it's like, is that really worth like a few pounds? Right. So that would be number one from like my perspective is, hey, like I want to feel really good. And if my nutritional habits aren't helping me accomplish that, that's like, I'm going to start there. Right.
Right.
And I'm going to prioritize feeling good over like being skinny. Right.
Well, and I think there's a lot of misconceptions too, that in order to be skinny or to have that body composition change, that you need to be in a fasted state or a state where you're not giving your body enough nutrition. And that's just simply not true.
Right. And so that was kind of the number one is it doesn't make any sense from the standpoint of like, hey, you only live once. Like you should be able to enjoy your life and not feel miserable every day because you're so malnourished. That's first. Second, what you're hitting on is like, that's also the wrong strategy
Right.
if you're trying to look very fit.
Right.
Right. And so, man, this is a really challenging mindset to break with people, isn't it? That like if you have to be in some dramatic calorie deficit to like lose body fat.
Right. Right. And I think especially as, yes, I think for everyone that is the case, but especially for women as we get older, hit perimenopause, our hormone levels start changing. Being in that fasted state throughout, long periods of time and not being in a fueled state really will have negative impacts on your overall health, not just body composition change and creating adaptation, but just your overall health and hormone levels and all of that. You get into this cycle of, not fueling yourself, and then that affects your hormones. And it's just this cycle that ends up having the negative impact on your body than it does a positive impact on your body.
Yeah. If you're not eating enough, then you are going to lose muscle mass. You're going to lose bone mass, and your body is going to retain body fat.
Right.
Like you're essentially telling your body to retain fat. And that's usually the opposite of what most everybody wants. It's like they want muscle. They want to look lean and toned and fit. They don't want to just be a little stick, right?
Right.
And then the kind of the other piece of this, beyond just like the appearance side of it, is as you age, you become more fragile, more brittle. In order for you to live a long, healthy life, like you need to be strong and you need to have as much muscle as you can possibly get. Because at 75 years old, 80 years old, 85 years old, like how you look doesn't really matter anymore. And I'm not saying you can't have both.
Right.
Right. But just you're prioritizing the wrong thing.
Right. It's that health and that lifespan. And it is true that as you age, you start to lose skeletal muscle mass. And the only way to preserve that is to strength train, to create that adaptation within your body, to eat a lot of protein or enough protein to be able to tell your body that it needs to make that adaptation. And then that's going to prevent, injury as you age. So if you have a fall and you need to stop yourself, or you're able to get up and off, the floor if you do fall, like it's just really important, beyond, like you said, the physicality of it. And just feeling really good, and it prevents disease as well as maintaining that skeletal muscle.
Yeah. And if you want to be strong, if you recognize, hey, being strong and fit for the rest of my life is really important to me, the only way that you're going to accomplish that is to show up for your workouts fueled and ready to work.
Yes.
Right? Like it does not make any sense to show up for a workout and be so malnourished that you don't have the energy to make it through a workout. Like, what are you really accomplishing at that point? Like lifting weights when you're lightheaded, you're so famished, you're lightheaded.
Right. So what happens then if someone comes in and they're feeling lightheaded or low energy? So then they just go through the motions, right?
Yeah.
They're just barely making it through the workout. They're not giving the intensity that they need in order to create the adaptation or the telling your body that it needs the stimulus to change because they're just barely going through the motions. So if you come into your workout and you do have the fuel that your body needs to get through the workout, then you can go really hard, push the intensity of the workout, create that that adaptation that the body needs. So then, your central nervous system will say, hey, we need to make some change here, start the, muscle protein synthesis process.
Yeah.
And that's not going to happen if your body is not fueled.
No, you're actually probably making it worse. By working out. Like if you're so malnourished and you're showing up and your body doesn't have the energy, what happens physiologically is, and hormonally, is your body is like, hey, we need to find some energy, and we can't, like, we don't have it in our like bloodstream.
Right.
So your pancreas releases this hormone called glucagon, which travels to your muscle tissue and literally eats your muscle tissue and turns it into amino acids to fuel you through your workout, and glucose to fuel you for a workout or to meet the energy demands. So you're actually eating away at your muscle tissue. Or when you work out, if you have the fuel, you could be building your muscle tissue, right? And it's one or the other. But the other thing that happens here is you go all day without eating. You come in, you work out. It's a terrible workout. And then you can't tell me that you're strong enough willpower wise to then go home and not binge eat. Mm-hmm. That's what happens. Mm-hmm. You neglect all day long. Your body's so famished that your body's smart. It's like, hey, how do we get the most calories and the least amount of volume? Well, you're not going to do that with lettuce or broccoli or, even chicken. It's like, no, what I need is like French fries. What I need is a greasy cheeseburger, something that's super high in trans fats, high in sugar, because it's a lot of bang for your buck in terms of calories. And then now it's like the next day you're like, oh, I can't eat again because I totally just like ate way too much in this period of time, as opposed to just like taking a healthy, normal approach towards your nutrition throughout the whole entire day.
Right.
So, and I don't know what it says about our society, because it's not just women, it's men who do this too. We see it all the time. And I don't know what it says about our society that people are like, well, I'm too busy at work to stop and eat. I'm too busy to drink water. And I'm like, really? That's your life? That's your life, that you sacrifice that much for a job that you can't even take 15 minutes out of your day to fuel your body and eat. Mm-hmm. That's like, take a step back away from the situation and just look at that. Like if it's not you, something's not right there.
Right.
Something's not right there, and you might need to just kind of realign your priorities if that's the case. Nobody's worth that, right? Like
exactly.
no boss, no job, nothing's worth, no money is worth like you not eating throughout the whole entire day. And I know some people just do it voluntarily because they think that, hey, this is going to help me lose weight and get skinny. Some people just do it from the fact that it's like, oh, I'm just too busy during the day. I forget to eat. Like,
Right. Need
build
to
it in.
Prioritize your health.
Yes, yeah. prioritize your health. So, I mean, I think everybody gets the point. Like, should you eat or shouldn't you eat before a workout? Yes, you should eat. Absolutely eat. The only time that I would say somebody is probably okay not eating is like if you work out first thing in the morning, right? Yeah. Like if you're doing a 5 a.m., 6 a.m. workout, you can get up in the morning, you can go straight to the gym, work out, go home, have a meal, right? But anything really later than that, you're going, think about the last time you ate was probably dinner the night before. That's a lot of hours that you're going without eating. And even somebody that does like a 10 a.m. workout or 11 a.m. workout, they're going to struggle. They're not going to be optimal.
Right.
And I know there's a lot around intermittent fasting and all of that. Like that works for a very small portion of the population. I'm not against it. It's just
Right.
like, I'm against it for women.
Yeah.
I don't think that any women should do intermittent fasting. For some men, I think that it's okay. Not for all men.
Right.
But I think that there's a better way.
Yeah.
Like, you know, a better approach that we should take. So, Brittany, what should people eat before they work out? I think that's the question we should answer.
And the meal doesn't have to be a huge meal, especially if you're like a morning, you typically work out in the morning, you know, have something like, you know, oatmeal with some protein powder. You can have, you know, a smoothie that has some protein in it. You could have a banana with almond butter. You know, eggs are great in the morning. You know, eggs with a banana or something like that. So something that gives you some protein and some carbohydrate. The carbohydrate's going to give you the fuel you need. Protein's going to be able to stimulate like that muscle protein synthesis. And then after you work out, you need to refuel after the workout. Make sure you're getting plenty of protein. And again, replacing the carbohydrate stores after the workout as well. So, you know, that can be a bigger meal after the workout if you work out in the morning. So you have like your pre-workout and then like your post-workout, like breakfast. If you work out in the afternoon, make sure at least an hour before the workout, again, you have that protein and carbohydrate before you come in for the workout. And then refueling after the workout, I would say within an hour of your workout, making sure you're getting that protein in afterwards.
Cool. All right, guys, you just don't really have a choice. I mean, that with all of the health issues in our society today, it's like you can't be passive about it. You really have to take ownership of your own health. Nobody else is going to. It's not easy. I'm sorry. There's no easy button when it comes to health, especially not in our day and age when everything's kind of stacked against you. It's like, you need to be working towards this. And if you don't, it's like one of those things where it's choose your hard, right? I'm not telling you that it's going to be easy. Yes, you have to put some effort in. You have to work out. You have to eat right. You have to, you know, make steady, healthy lifestyle changes. But the other option is disease. The other option is falling at 80 years old and breaking your hip and dying young from that. And statistics says that's a very real likelihood, right? And so, you know, it's one thing to just kind of think like, oh, I'm not 80 yet, so I don't have to worry about it. But the decisions you make now will impact your health later on in life. So, and there's never a finish line.
Right. Start in making those investments in your fitness bank now. The sooner you do that, the more reserves you'll have later on in life.
Dig your well before you're thirsty.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. All right, guys, that's it for us. We'll be back next week with more great stuff. Thank you so much for listening to the Healthy Living Scottsdale podcast. Do you have a question that you'd like for us to answer live on the podcast? If so, all you need to do is head over to the Apple Podcast app on your iPhone and do 3 simple things. First, leave us a rating and review telling me what you think of the podcast. In that review, ask anything you want related to health, fitness, or nutrition. And if you want a shout out, leave us your Instagram handle or name. That's all you have to do. Then listen to hear your questions answered live on the next Q&A episode.